Anything else you changed that he wasn't used to?
A lot lower PEDs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Without any doubt, the greatest bodybuilding show on earth.
You don't want to miss this.
Best show in the world.
I'm very excited.
Best Arnold weekend ever.
To your winner, Derek Lunsford.
Let's go.
Hey guys, Ivan here, and in today's video we got a couple of really interesting bodybuilding updates, and I'm sure you guys are gonna enjoy this video because a lot of things come to light. And the first topic today is gonna be about Nick Walker, and again, about his coaching situation. I already talked about this before, and maybe you guys remember like a couple of months before the Arnold Classic when Nick announced that he was gonna do this without a coach. I said that he might try it, he might even get to the peak week alone, but for the peak week protocol, he's gonna hire somebody because not a lot of bodybuilders can actually do it alone without going crazy and trying a million different things. And I was still wrong because he didn't hire somebody just for the peak week. He had a coach this entire prep. Two coaches, guys. Two coaches. Even though all this time we thought he was doing it alone, he actually had two different coaches helping him. One in the off season and then another one to finish the prep. And the other one, as you guys know, is Guy Cisternino, and now it's official. And no, Guy Cisternino was not Nick's second set of eyes. No, he completely took over Nick's prep. He was his full-time coach. More than that, guys, the treatment Nick received from Guy, do not expect to receive that treatment from any coach, because I promise you, you won't get it. This kind of treatment you will get only if you are your coach's best athlete, or, and probably also if your coach is your best friend. So Guy really gave it all in this prep, helping Nick. And I guess that's why Nick looked so freaking good, also because Guy knows a lot, obviously. The guy knows everybody. He's best friends with everybody in the industry. He was coached by so many great coaches. He knows how to prep bodybuilders. He is not exactly a full-time coach. He does some coaching on the side, but not like this, not like this. But now, what Guy did basically is brought Nick at his absolute best ever, potentially the best physique in the world this year. You can argue if Andrew Jack actually deserved to win the Arnold Classic. He looked phenomenal, but he has the genetics, really. But Nick could have won this show very easily. And Nick can win the Mr. Olympia as well if he does his part, which is controlling the freaking midsection. But that's a topic for a different video, guys. In this video, let's hear what Guy actually has to say. Check this out.
Like, nobody really knows the story, but you've been helping Nick for probably since the Olympia. You guys started talking.
Yeah. And then he asked me if I could be a second eye because he kind of wanted to do it himself. And, you know, I think like the end of November, he sent me pictures and he's like, what do you think?
So he left Kyle, and then it was after the Olympia, and he said he wants to do his own thing. Did at any point you think to yourself, I should push him into working with someone? Or were you like...
I did try, and I know he was working with somebody for a couple weeks and just was like, this isn't my cup of tea.
Whoa. Hold on right there. What the hell are we hearing here? Nick already hired a coach after the Mr. Olympia. Even though he said he's doing it alone, he never wanted to share this with us. Not only he didn't want to share with everybody, he also was lying to us, guys. Let's be real. Now, personally, I'm a huge fan of Nick Walker. Currently, I'm rewatching the old Bro Chat episodes, and I'm only picking the ones with Nick Walker in them because I love the guy. He's hilarious, he's really honest and real, and he's a character, man. But he is not exactly the person with the most integrity. So he was lying to his audience, to his fans, to the bodybuilding world that he was without a coach. Meanwhile, he worked with somebody. We don't know who that was yet, maybe that coach is going to come out and tell this to the world. Probably I can expect that. And I'll do some digging. I'll try to find out who that was. But apparently it didn't work for Nick. After a couple of weeks, he decided to fire this guy. And he DM'd Guy. He asked him to be his second set of highs. So they started chit-chatting. They started talking. And let's hear from Guy what happened next.
So he was working with somebody, didn't like it, so he decided to leave and do his own thing. And then you stop pushing him. You're like, I'll help you. I'll be your second.
Yeah, he was like, would you be a second eye? I said, yeah. Then, I think as trust built over the weeks, there came a point where he was like, take the reins. Like,
really?
Yeah.
How many weeks out was that?
I'd probably say like 8-10 weeks out, driving down to see him every week and, sending me pictures. I mean, he was sending me pictures like the last month every day. And Nick was very good with like, is the food too high? Is the food? So he was giving me feedback. So that's why, I give him a lot of credit because before I even did anything, Nick was really Nick did his whole off season by himself. It looked fucking great.
Yeah.
All right, so at 8 to 10 weeks out of the Arnold Classic, Guy Cisternino took over the reins completely. Now, he says that Nick did his off-season alone, but when was that really? During the time when he worked with that coach that he fired, or in those 3 weeks before he started the prep for the Arnold, like after the Mr. Olympia until 10 weeks out of the Arnold Classic, there isn't a lot of time. So Nick couldn't have done a whole off-season alone. Again, he had a coach that he fired, and then Guy in between maybe 2 weeks. So basically, Guy did the whole thing as a coach. He completely took over the reins. Like I said, he devoted himself to Nick completely, which is something you don't really get. I am like that with some of my clients who are really my best clients and who I have personal relationship with, but I can't promise all of my clients to drive and look at them every week, to check the updates every morning and to wake up exactly at the same time and, to talk about the food every day for each day. That's also probably excessive, but if the athlete wants that and it helps them and it's somebody who is going to become the best bodybuilder in the world, then you do it, man. You do it. Now, again, Guy is not exactly a professional coach, but he wanted to really try his best, and it worked so well. Nick brought his absolute best ever, and it was an absolutely crazy freaking package, man. Crazy. So again, props to Guy for nailing this, completely nailing it. Let's hear the rest of the story.
Was there anything else you changed that he wasn't used to?
A lot lower PEDs.
Yeah.
A lot lower PEDs. So, yeah, apparently Nick Walker was blasting it like a maniac, which I'm not surprised by at all. And in some cases, guys, lowering the PEDs can even help you with the look. And I've seen that happen. I had guys come to me using a lot of gear, unnecessarily, completely unnecessarily. They were toxic, and I lowered the gear, and they actually looked their best ever. And there is a guy that is competing this Saturday. I've posted a transformation on my IG, exactly the same scenario. By the way, guys, if you need my coaching services, you can DM me on Even Bodybuilding on Instagram. Again, I am not going to give you exactly the same treatment that Guy gave to Nick, but I am extremely devoted, guys. I try my best. Like during the peak week, I definitely talk to my guys every day as the show approaches, multiple times a day. I even do sometimes posing sessions as well, help you with that too. So yes, I'm on it for sure. So if you guys again need me, DM me, Even Bodybuilding on IG. Anyways, again, Guy Cisternino did a phenomenal job with Nick. He prepped him fully. However, Nick is denying this. Nick does not admit that Guy prepped him fully. You may have already seen this, but somebody asked him in his Q&A on IG, is he planning on getting a coach? And this was his response.
No, I don't plan it. I think this went extremely well. I had extremely fun doing it myself, having Guy as my second eye, and this couldn't have gone better. This was the moment I was waiting for. This was me putting my best package on stage. I did that. I succeeded that.
He says, no, I'm not going to get a coach. I am good without a coach. Doing it myself and having Guy as a second set of eyes. Was Guy only Nick's second set of eyes? I've been a second set of eyes to some of my friends who were competing, prepping alone, who are also coaches. They don't need a coach, so they trust me. They ask me for the opinion. I tell them what I think, what I would do. I tell them if they are behind or they're rushing things or what kind of look should they go for. That's being a second set of eyes. Not this. Not this. This is actually full-on coaching, an extreme version of it too. Like, not a lot of coaches would do this for any client. Looking at them every week, driving to see them every week, and checking their physiques every day, and talking to them constantly about everything during the prep. This is a full-on coach and nothing else. However, Nick is denying this the same way he was denying it at the beginning of this prep or the off-season. He had a coach who he fired. Fuad knew what was going on, and that's why I'm assuming Fuad invited Guy to his podcast to speak the truth, because people should know about this. Guy literally created Nick's best version ever, best peak ever. He didn't create him as a bodybuilder, but as far as the look, the conditioning, the peak, everything, Guy needs to get some credit for it. Fuad probably felt that he should, and that's why I'm assuming he did this, and it was the right move. That's exactly what I'm doing here as well. Hopefully Nick is actually fine with this. I'm sure he is. I'm sure he talked to Guy and he was like, okay, go ahead, tell the world, but I think Nick wasn't exactly planning on doing this. He probably wanted this to be hush-hush because he wanted to, probably show himself as being somebody who is self-coached. But Guy Cisternino has a voice. He has a mouth, right? He knows people. He went on the most popular bodybuilding podcast and revealed the truth to the world. I'm sure Nick okayed it, but I don't think he wanted it this way. But hey, it is what it is. Now we know. Now we know. What Nick was saying was a lie. And again, I like Nick Walker. I'm not trying to attack him here or anything, but it's just the fact. It's a fact. He said Guy was only his second set of eyes. He prepped himself. And he didn't have a coach in the offseason. Now we find out that both of those things are not true. And Nick actually had a full coach for the Arnold prep, and that's how he achieved his best look of all time by far. Guy did a much better job than Kyle Wilkes, let's be honest here. I love Kyle as well, but let's be real. Guy brought Nick in perfectly. Now, if I was prepping Nick, there are two ways I would approach this. One way that I would prefer would be to just tell him what to do, and him not asking any questions and just doing it, which is an impossible way to do it. With somebody at this level, this caliber, it's impossible. The other way would be to really have a lot of back and forth, to kind of advise him what to do, to hear what he thinks, and to guide him. And I think Kyle didn't know how to do that properly. I think these guys clashed a lot. Guy kind of found a way to fit with Nick Walker, even though he probably told him some things Nick didn't like to hear, like lower the gear, don't use too many diuretics, keep the water in during the peak week. Certain things that some guys are not used to doing but work really well. In some cases, I do it that way as well. If somebody is losing their fullness very easily, I keep the water as high as possible, carbs as well. Don't do any diuretics. It's really person dependent, but in this situation, it worked like a charm. And Guy figured out Nick's body because, again, they had a lot of back and forth. They were friends for a long time. Guy probably knew certain things about Nick, and this really clicked. Guy nailed it. He brought something insane out of Nick Walker, and he almost won the Arnold Classic. By the opinion of many, he actually won it. He deserved to win it. And now you guys know the truth behind Nick Walker's prep. No, it's all a lie. Nick did not prep himself. No, Guy Cisternino was not his second set of eyes. Guy Cisternino was Nick Walker's full-on coach for the Arnold Classic, and that's how Nick Walker got to look this good. for the Arnold Classic. All props need to go to Guy Cisternino. He needs to get his credit for what he achieved here. And that's gonna do it for this video, guys. I'm curious to hear your opinions on this down below in the comment section. Again, guys, if you need my coaching services, DM me at Even Bodybuilding Coaching on Instagram. Again, guys, your opinions down below in the comments. Subscribe to the channel, guys. See you soon. All the best and bye-bye.